Hi, I'm Jeannie Mai.
I'm Loni Love.
Hi, my name is Tamar Braxton.
I'm Adrienne. Hi, I'm Tamera Mowry-Housley.
Welcome to The Real, okay? Welcome to The Real!
The Real was a loud, funny, sometimes messy, but always bold daytime talk show that actually felt like a group chat. It was the first of its kind, a fully multicultural group of women talking about everything from breakups and babies to racial identity and their faith. But behind that laughter, there was controversy, fallout, and a legacy. So we're going to dive deep into the legacy of The Real, how it started, how it changed daytime TV, and where the original hosts are now. The Real premiered in 2013 with a summer test run and went national in 2014. Unlike The View or The Talk, which targeted older and more traditional women, The Real was aimed at a millennial audience. It targeted younger women who wanted an unfiltered take on pop culture, relationships, and identity. The original hosts were Tamar Braxton, Jeannie Mai, Tamera Mowry-Housley, Adrienne, and Loni Love. A mix of singers, comedians, reality stars, and actresses. From the start, their chemistry was always on point. Even though they were all completely different, it just worked. You had the outspoken diva energy from Tamar, Jeannie's hyper-bubbly personality, Tamera's calm and grounded mum vibes, Adrienne's fiery and cool New York vibe, and Loni held it down as the comedian and anchor in the middle. I remember when I first watched The Real, what captured me the most was seeing Adrienne and Tamera. They just reminded me of my childhood, and from the very first time I watched it, I didn't stop. I eventually became a fan of all of the ladies. When the show started, the tone was just fun. There were light-hearted debates, pop culture, games, makeovers. It was a less serious show than what it ended up being. But what really set The Real apart was their diversity. The Real was actually the first ever daytime talk show with a fully multicultural cast. Black, Asian American, Latina, and biracial voices at one table. They all, from the start, seemed to be very open about their experiences. This was unheard of, but it mattered and it was important for a generation to see. I know for me, even though I don't live in the US, I used to watch the clips on YouTube, and this was the first time I really watched a daytime talk show, and it was refreshing to see women that were different races. In a media landscape where most daytime panels looked very similar, The Real looked and sounded like real women from different walks of life. The topics they spoke about reflected that as well. They talked about colorism, interracial dating, generational trauma, spirituality, long before these became buzzwords. It gave viewers who were often ignored by mainstream media a real seat at the table, and it worked. Their ratings went up, clips went viral, and people felt seen.
And Asian people are even worse because they want you to learn while you're getting spanked, so they ask you, count how many hits you want from me. So like, 1, 2, 3, 4.
With my
You're
mom.
learning while you get spanked.
Women is like getting chased around with a chancleta. You know what that's about? If there was a table in the middle between me and my mother, I'd be like, whoa, which side you gonna go on? What side you gonna go on?
What's a table?
It's like a flip-flop, like a flip-flop.
I can't believe in the Asian culture they counted, because in the black culture it's didn't I tell
syllables.
you not to do that?
But being the first comes with its own set of problems, and this is where things got a bit messy. As the show got more real, so did the controversies. One of the most known is when Jeannie Mai got a lot of backlash when she made a comment about her dating preferences.
Loved black guys. Yeah, I did. But for me, dark meat on the side, white keeps me mean and lean. You know, that's why I married white. Man, that's what I like.
Hold up!
Twitter came for her, and still to this day, she can't escape this comment. I personally don't know what she meant by that, but the general consensus was that black men were not good enough to be her main and only good for being side pieces. She did eventually apologize for the comment, and I hope she actually learned from her mistake. Tamar and Jeannie also had a very clear, rocky dynamic. Sometimes it was playful shade, but other times it got so tense it was just hard to ignore.
You know who I didn't hit it off well with at the beginning? Miss Persnippity over here, okay? She was honey.
Are you pointing at me?
Yes.
What's a parsnip?
She was real hossidity, Persnippity like.
I was?
You don't know me.
No, that's not true.
14,000 shows on TV.
You are lying.
I am
Lies.
She doesn't know what
Tamar,
persnippity is.
Lies you tell.
I ain't lying, girl. I gotta be honest with you, girl. You was not that nice.
In her case,
People really felt the tension between them. There have even been multiple videos on the internet claiming that Tamar bullied Jeannie. Tamera, who is married to Adam Housley, often faced backlash for her interracial marriage. Viewers called her out, sometimes unfairly, and questioned whether her takes on race and politics were toned down because of her relationship. She got emotional many times on the show for defending her marriage.
Tamera, ain't no way Adam is making some good collard greens. You must eat like a white person because, girl, Tam, I know you need to hit reply on that.
Adrienne also had her fair share of backlash. She announced her engagement on the show twice, once in 2015 and again in 2016 when she got engaged to gospel singer Israel Houghton. Some fans weren't exactly celebrating. Many accused her of starting the relationship while Israel was still married. Adrienne denied those claims and said that their relationship began after he was separated, but the backlash was intense, especially from the Christian community.
You know, it is important to clarify something. So I know a lot of blogs went crazy, but that's why I'm here to set the record straight. So this man pictured here is not married.
How about that?
Praise God.
Of course, Loni Love had her fair share of backlash. After Tamar's departure from The Real, many accused her of being the reason Tamar got fired. Loni denied it multiple times. She even broke the story down on The Breakfast Club, explaining the situation. But for a lot of fans, the damage was already done. She also got backlash for being the only black woman left after Tamar's departure, and some of her takes, especially around relationships and race, were picked apart online.
Oh, when the incident happened when she got fired, I didn't know about it because I went on the Wendy Williams show that Friday. Why would I go on a Wendy Williams show if I knew one of my castmates was going to get fired that next Monday? I got a call on Saturday. They said that Tamar was being let go. I asked the question. We all got on a text and we were like, what is going on?
It was us.
We was like,
Oh, we were calling her,
Right.
calling
We
this,
called her.
calling-
She's not picking up the phone, nothing, right?
Although I don't agree with everything that transpired on the show or some of the things that were said, I do think The Real is a testament of how women, especially women of color, are often held to impossible standards. The backlash, the nitpicking, the constant need to defend yourself, it says a lot more about the society we live in than it does about the women themselves. In 2016, the drama hit a peak. Tamar Braxton was fired from The Real. She unfollowed the cast and posted cryptic messages on her Instagram, and she also distanced herself. It was a shock to many, not just for the fans, but for the show itself. Tamar was the boldest and most outspoken voice at the table, and her departure left a noticeable gap. Even though Tamar wasn't on the show anymore, the show still thrived. The remaining four, Jeannie, Adrienne, Tamera, and Loni, stepped up, and the fans stuck around. In fact, The Real hit a massive milestone in 2018 when they won a Daytime Emmy for Outstanding Entertainment Talk Show Hosts. That was a big deal, not just for the show, but for what it represented. 4 women of color being unapologetically themselves, holding it down without a traditional anchor or legacy name behind them.
And the Emmy goes to the co-hosts of The Real.
The chemistry was still there, different but still there. Adrienne became more of a standout voice, Jeannie grew more confident, Loni took on more leadership, and Tamera continued to be the heart of the group. But things began to shift when Amanda Seales joined in early 2020. Amanda was amazing and passionate, but her energy was different. She was coming from a place of activism, comedy, and intellectual debate. The rest of the women leaned to more lifestyle, pop culture, and personal experiences. It wasn't necessarily a clash, but it was clear the original balance was gone. Amanda even admitted that it wasn't the right fit. She said she didn't feel like she could speak freely, especially as a black woman talking about race, and after just 6 months, she left. During this time, it felt like the beginning of the end. The original spark, the girlfriend-style dynamic, the group chat vibe, it just couldn't be replicated like it was in the first seasons. But right as all that was unfolding, COVID happened. The pandemic changed everything for The Real. The show went fully remote. Each host was filming from home, and that energy that they had in the studio didn't really translate on Zoom. There were tech delays and awkward pauses, and they were just missing that natural chemistry you get from being in the same room as each other. Then more changes came when Tamera left in 2020 after 7 seasons to pursue other opportunities and spend more time with her family. She was replaced by Garcelle Beauvais, which I thought was a great addition to the show. She was very poised and elegant. But again, the show began to feel more structured and less like a genuine sisterhood. The fun, free-flowing conversation started to feel more like segments. When they did eventually return to the studio, it wasn't the same either. There was no live audience, which The Real had always fed off of, and even though they were all physically together again, something still felt off. And in 2022, after 8 seasons and over 1,300 episodes, The Real was cancelled. For all the drama The Real gave us, they gave us beautiful moments too. One thing I loved about The Real is that it was exactly that, real. They opened up a lot. They shared their personal stories of infertility, postpartum depression, abuse, family trauma, and loss. There was a powerful segment when Jeannie talked about surviving abuse. Adrienne spoke about her faith and dealing with shame. Tamera shared her struggles with mum guilt. These were raw, unscripted moments that reminded viewers this was more than just a talk show. They celebrated so many wins too, like engagements, weddings, pregnancies. You could tell that they were all genuinely close with each other, and that translated on screen. So, after all of that, where are the original hosts now? Tamar is still making music, doing reality TV, and hosting her podcast Under Construction. She also has a new cooking show with her mum called Cooking Sessions with Tamar and Miss E. She's spoken out more about her mental health and healing journey as she went through a lot after departing the show, such as divorcing her husband Vincent Herbert and the passing of her older sister Tracy Braxton. In the later seasons of the show, Jeannie Mai married rapper Jeezy, which ultimately led to divorce in 2023. However, they had a daughter, Monaco Mai, and she's leaned more into motherhood and fashion beauty content online. She also does hosting still, and it's so beautiful to see the bond she has with her daughter. Tamera moved on to doing Hallmark movies and has also been focusing on her family, which is something that she expressed on the show when she was filming. She does pop up in interviews sometimes, but As for now, she mostly keeps it low-key. After the show, Adrienne announced via Instagram that her and her husband had welcomed a baby boy, Ever James, via surrogate. After struggling with infertility and going through IVF for 6 years. This was a testimony of faith, perseverance, and so many of us longtime fans were so happy for her because we know that this is what she had always wanted. She also has a lingerie and handbag line called La Voûte and is still active on social media. Loni is still very much in the mix. If you follow her on Instagram, you'll know she's basically running her own version of the news. She's also continued doing stand-up, writing books, and staying booked as a host and guest commentator. And as for her personal life, Loni and her longtime partner James, who she was dating while on The Real, are still going strong. She does keep things quite private, but from what I can see, she seems to be thriving. As you can see from these comments, The Real meant a lot to many of us. It gave women of color a platform in daytime TV where they didn't have to be sidekicks. It showed younger audiences that their voices matter, and it wasn't afraid to be messy because real conversations are messy. And at the end of the day, The Real gave a platform to conversations we weren't seeing anywhere else in daytime TV. It wasn't always perfect, but it was honest, and that's why so many people still miss it till today. I know I do. So let me know in the comments who was your favorite co-host, or if you would like to see The Real make a return one day. Thanks for watching.